Are you feeling bloated, moody, and like your body just isn't quite right? It could be more than just stress. It could be a sign of a hormonal imbalance that you do not want to ignore. And today we're talking about the topic of estrogen dominance that seems to be trending all over social media and affects so many women, but do you really know what it is? And better yet, if you think you might be suffering from a hormonal imbalance like estrogen dominance, do you know what may be causing it or what you can do about it? If not, stay tuned because I'm about to give you all of the nitty-gritty details. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Dr. Renee, and since I'm an overachiever, I not only have one, but I have two medical board certifications. And I've had the honor of working with women both in person and in the online space for over 20 years. So what is it that I do? I help women balance their hormones naturally and rewire their brains for better health. But enough about me. Let's dive into what we're here for today, and that's to learn all about this term, estrogen dominance. Estrogen dominance occurs when there's too much estrogen in the body relative to progesterone. Now, this can happen for a few reasons. Sometimes it's because your body overproduces estrogen, especially in fat cells, which can act like their own little hormone-producing organs. Adipose tissue can convert other hormones like estrone into estradiol, which will give you the symptoms of estrogen dominance. Other times it's due to exposure to chemicals that can mimic estrogen, things like plastics and pesticides. These chemicals trick your body into thinking they're estrogen, or they can even impact how estrogen is produced, how it's broken down or stored, making levels rise and throwing everything off balance. The interesting thing here is that your blood levels will appear normal even though you're having all of the symptoms of too much estrogen in your body. It may be because your body is not properly detoxing estrogen, which can lead to an imbalance. And lastly, if you're not ovulating regularly, you will not produce enough progesterone, which will leave estrogen unbalanced. So what are the classic telltale signs that you might be dealing with too much estrogen in your body? Let's break it down. Number one, you might be experiencing more intense PMS symptoms like breast tenderness, bloating, or mood swings. Your periods may have changed. Maybe they became heavier or longer or more painful. You may notice increased anxiety, irritability, or even depression. We have to keep in mind that progesterone is our calming hormone. So when it's out of balance with estrogen, we can start to feel more on edge and moody. You might experience weight gain, especially around the midsection. Estrogen dominance can lead to stubborn fat storage, especially around the belly. Remember, estrogen is what helps women maintain healthy amounts of fat on their body during her reproductive years to support a pregnancy. But when levels become too high, unwanted weight gain can occur. High estrogen levels will also cause water retention, so you may feel more bloated even without eating anything. You may experience a decrease in sexual desire. This might be a sign of your estrogen levels being out of balance. Now, there's a lot of potential causes of low libido in women, but I find that this usually occurs because of a few things. Mood changes. You might feel uncomfortable in your skin, either due to weight gain or bloating. And even the fact that you're bleeding all the time. Who wants to get busy when you're always having your period? And you might have other symptoms like fatigue, headaches, difficulty sleeping, and even brain fog. These all can be connected to estrogen dominance. So if you have some of the other symptoms we've talked about in addition to these, you may want to put estrogen on your radar. So if you're perimenopausal like me, you may have a few things going on. You may not ovulate every month, which will put you in a state of estrogen dominance relative to progesterone. But this is where we have to focus on controlling what we can control. You may not be able to control ovulating every month, especially in perimenopause, but there are some things that you can control, which I'm going to get into very soon. And hey, I'd love to know if you experience any of these symptoms. And if you do, let me know in the comments and also tell us what has worked for you. Remember, we're all in this together. So maybe something you have done can help another woman experiencing the same symptoms. So why does this imbalance even happen? Well, let's look at some of the most common causes of estrogen dominance in more detail. Number one, your gut. It plays a vital role in hormone balance, specifically through the estrobolome, the part of the microbiome that metabolizes or breaks down estrogen. An unhealthy gut can lead to improper estrogen elimination, which can contribute to estrogen dominance. You might have been exposed to endocrine disrupting chemicals like plastics, BPA, pesticides, and even fragranced personal care products. They can all mimic estrogen in your body, which will throw off your natural balance. High stress levels can raise cortisol, which is our stress hormone, which in turn can deplete progesterone, which leaves estrogen unchecked and dominant. Stress can also wreak havoc on your gut health, further worsening the imbalance between our two primary sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. And I'll explain this a little bit more coming up soon. Let's talk about alcohol. Remember, the liver is responsible for breaking down and excreting hormones like estrogen. When our liver function is compromised, such as with drinking alcohol, it struggles to efficiently metabolize or break down estrogen. This can lead to elevated estrogen levels in the bloodstream, contributing to estrogen dominance. And remember, alcohol is a toxin. So when we drink it, our body prioritizes breaking it down over metabolizing anything else in our body that's not seen as a threat. And of course, the more you drink, the worse the consequences when it comes to liver function. Also, alcohol consumption can increase this process known as aromatization, where the enzyme aromatase converts testosterone into estrogen. This can cause two things. Number one, increased estrogen levels, which will further contribute to estrogen dominance. And number two, decreased testosterone levels, which can negatively affect mood, libido, muscle mass, and just your overall hormone balance. And if you're not ovulating regularly due to conditions like PCOS, irregular periods, or even perimenopause, you won't produce sufficient progesterone, leading to a relative increase in estrogen levels. This creates what's called inherent estrogen dominance. The goal here is to return to ovulatory cycles if possible, so we can get our progesterone levels back to normal and balance out estrogen. So remember I said, let's control what we can control, especially in perimenopause. So let's take a look at some practical strategies to balance estrogen. Number one, improve gut health. Focusing on gut health is essential for balancing estrogen levels. You're going to want to start by cutting down on processed foods, especially those that are high in refined sugars. These foods not only cause inflammation in the gut, but they also disrupt the balance of the healthy gut bacteria. Instead, I want you to try to prioritize fiber-rich prebiotic foods like leafy greens, flax seeds, and whole grains that will feed the beneficial gut bacteria. You can also consider adding in fermented foods like sauerkraut, kombucha, and kefir. These can help maintain a healthy gut microbiome. To further support getting rid of excess estrogen from the body, include cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower in your diet. These veggies contain something called indole-3 carbinol, also known as I3C. Now, I3C is converted into DIM, diindole methane, during digestion, which aids in metabolizing or breaking down estrogen into its more protective forms, making it easier for the body to get rid of excess estrogen. This process helps reduce estrogen dominance and just supports overall hormone balance. Next, you're going to want to reduce your exposure to endocrine disrupting chemicals. Now, this is essential for maintaining hormone balance, particularly estrogen. Endocrine disrupting chemicals mimic or interfere with the body's hormones, and they can be found in a ton of common household items. Number one, plastics, especially those containing bisphenol A, BPA, the BPA alternatives, and phthalates. These are known endocrine disruptors that can mimic estrogen in your body, leading to a condition called xenoestrogen exposure. Xenoestrogens are chemicals that act like estrogen, disrupting the body's natural hormonal balance and potentially contributing to estrogen dominance. For example, BPA, commonly found in plastic containers and water bottles, leaches into food and drinks, especially when exposed to heat, and they can raise estrogen levels by binding to estrogen receptors in your body. Two easy ways that I've reduced my exposure to plastic is to switch to glass or stainless steel containers for storing food and drinks. And I also avoid microwaving food in plastic containers, as heat will increase the leaching of these harmful chemicals into your food. I also avoid drinking hot beverages, especially from plastic, or drinking through those little plastic cups that you get from the coffee shops, because again, the heat will leach the chemicals into your body. Now, I know you're thinking this can be costly, but my recommendation to you is just swap out little by little. Just get one stainless steel water bottle, reuse it, save your health and save the environment. Also, when it comes to storageware, go ahead and use your plastic, but a couple things. Don't heat in that plastic, and don't store food in the plastic when it's still hot. Let the food cool and then store it. Over time, switch from the plastic storage containers to glass or stainless steel. Next up, we're going to tackle conventional personal care products. Now, many conventional personal care products, including makeup, lotions, and shampoos, contain chemicals like phthalates, parabens, and synthetic fragrances. These chemicals are absorbed through the skin and act as xenoestrogens, further disrupting your body's hormone regulation. Phthalates and parabens can bind to estrogen receptors and stimulate estrogenic activity, leading to higher levels of circulating estrogen, which in turn can either cause or worsen estrogen dominance. Now, 3 ways that I try to reduce exposure. Number 1, I opt for fragrance-free or organic personal care products, as many synthetic fragrances are sources of phthalates. You're going to want to look for products that are labeled paraben-free or phthalate-free, and these are much more common nowadays. And choose natural or organic brands that avoid these harmful chemicals altogether. And comment below if this is one of the hardest things for you to give up. I know, I love my fragrance products too. But if you're dealing with estrogen dominance, it might be one of the things you might want to swap out to see if it makes a difference. Or maybe even just cut down on the number of fragrance products you use. Every little bit helps. And here's the thing. Think about how many products women put on their body a day and how many of those products are fragranced. Can you cut those down by half? That'll start making a difference right away. And a little story time here. Gosh, it was several years ago. I had sensitivity testing done, and it's generally done for food sensitivities, but they did add in some chemicals such as phthalates. And lo and behold, when I got my results back, I had a high sensitivity to phthalates. Back then, I had no idea what they were. I started to look them up, and I thought, oh my gosh, these are like plasticizers, right? So all the plastic storage containers I had to get rid of, all the plastic water bottles, all the plastic in my kitchen had to go. But when I found out that phthalates were also in fragranced personal care products, my world crumbled. And it was right around Christmas, and I was trying to get a deal on all of the, personal care products, the lotions and the soaps and all the things. And, I remember going into stores and saying, does this have fragrance in it, or is this phthalate free? And back then, a lot of people were like, I don't know. Does it say it? And a lot of labels can be deceiving. So number 1, that was the roughest Christmas ever because I got 0 fragrance products. But number 2, I became an educated consumer, and I started to be able to read labels better. So if a label says parfum or fragrance or any one of those variations, chances are it does have synthetic fragrance in it, which contains phthalates and can disrupt your hormones. So stay away. Now, stress can have a huge impact on your hormone balance, particularly when it comes to cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which in short bursts can be beneficial. However, chronic stress leads to persistently elevated cortisol levels, which can wreak havoc on your entire hormonal system, including estrogen and progesterone levels. This hormonal imbalance can worsen symptoms of estrogen dominance and even lead to other health issues like fatigue, mood swings, and weight gain, especially around your midsection. Beyond its direct effects on hormone balance, chronic stress also affects gut health, which plays a key role in regulating our hormones. When you're stressed, cortisol increases inflammation in the body, including the gut lining, which can lead to a condition called leaky gut. Leaky gut occurs when the intestinal barrier becomes more permeable or leaky, which allows things like toxins, undigested food particles, and bacteria to pass into the bloodstream where it doesn't belong. This in turn triggers an inflammatory response that can disrupt the gut, including the estrobolome, that specific gut bacteria that are responsible for metabolizing and eliminating estrogen. If your gut isn't functioning optimally, excess estrogen may be reabsorbed into your bloodstream instead of being excreted, contributing to estrogen dominance. So, one of our goals is going to be to manage stress, not only to support our hormone balance, but also our gut health. Now, here's the thing: what is stress reducing to me may not work for you, but some things you might want to consider are number one, practicing mindful meditation. This is going to help lower cortisol levels, promoting relaxation and improving your body's stress response. Even as little as 5 to 10 minutes of daily guided meditation can significantly reduce your stress and your overall inflammation. Maybe consider yoga. Now, this is going to combine movement with breath work, which will help calm your nervous system, reduce our stress hormone cortisol, and support the rest and digest part of the nervous system called the parasympathetic nervous system, which is critical for both gut health and hormone balance. Walking. You might want to try walking, especially in nature. This will help lower your cortisol levels and improve your overall mental well-being. Regular physical activity like walking will also help with digestion. They'll help support your gut microbiome and promote overall hormone balance. And you might want to just try deep breathing exercises. Simple techniques like diaphragmatic breathing or deep belly breathing can reduce the physical effects of stress, such as a rapid heartbeat and shallow breathing, which in turn will lower your cortisol levels. This promotes relaxation and reduces inflammation in both your body and your gut. And it's so easy to do throughout the day. And last but not least, eliminate or at least cut down on your alcohol consumption. This will help your liver metabolize estrogen more effectively. Even cutting back to, a couple drinks a month can make a huge difference. Now, there are also some key supplements that can help balance estrogen and support overall hormone balance. However, I am a firm believer in diet and lifestyle as first-line management of any chronic condition. So I'm not about recommending a supplement for every symptom. But here's the thing, there are a few that might help you get over the hump as you're working on improving your diet and cutting down on endocrine disrupting chemicals and getting a handle on your stress. And listen, I've had to use many of these supplements along my journey in order for me to gain control over my female and my stress hormones. So let's get into it. First up, we have calcium D-glucarate. Now, this is a powerful supplement that supports the detoxification of estrogen by inhibiting an enzyme called beta-glucuronidase. This enzyme plays a critical role in hormone metabolism, particularly in how your body eliminates estrogen. So what is this beta-glucuronidase? Well, it's an enzyme produced by certain bacteria in your gut. It works by breaking the bond between toxins, including excess estrogen and glucuronic acid in a process called glucuronidation. Now, glucuronidation is the body's natural detox method where the liver attaches glucuronic acid to toxins or hormones like estrogen so they can be safely excreted through either the urine or the stool. However, high levels of beta-glucuronidase can interfere with this process. When beta-glucuronidase levels are too high, the bond between estrogen and glucuronic acid is broken, which in turn causes that estrogen to be reabsorbed into the bloodstream rather than being eliminated from the body. This can lead to estrogen recirculation and contribute to estrogen dominance. But then in walks calcium D-glucarate. This supplement works by inhibiting the activity of beta-glucuronidase, which will prevent the reactivation and reabsorption of estrogen. So this in turn allows estrogen to be detoxified and appropriately eliminated from the body, which will support your overall hormone balance and reduce your risk of estrogen dominance. Now, it's important to note that while calcium D-glucarate can be incredibly beneficial for managing estrogen dominance, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. If you have elevated levels of beta glucuronidase, supplementing with calcium D-glucarate can help regulate estrogen levels. However, I recommend using the supplement only if you have confirmed high beta glucuronidase levels through testing, as in some cases, your beta glucuronidase levels may be normal and supplementing would not be necessary. By the way, I do offer lab testing that includes checking for this beta glucuronidase enzyme in the gut. This will allow us to understand whether excess beta glucuronidase is contributing to your estrogen dominance, so we can tailor a plan that meets your specific needs. And I'll be sure to link access to that lab test in the description. And I just want to take a second to thank all of you smart women out there who have subscribed to this channel. Because let's be honest, you're tired of feeling like crap, you want to feel better, so you're here for all of the information. And if that's you, but you've not subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. You're going to miss out on some really eye-opening health content that I have coming out. So if you want to stay in the know, smash that subscribe button and hit that little bell icon so you can stay up to date with my latest content. And if you've enjoyed this video so far, please give it a little love by hitting the thumbs up. That shows me you enjoy this type of content, so I'll know to make more of it for you in the future. Okay? On to our next supplement. Next, we have diindolylmethane, also known as DIM. Now, I mentioned DIM earlier. It's a compound found in cruciferous veggies like broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts. It's especially valuable for women experiencing estrogen dominance because it helps the body metabolize or break down estrogen more effectively. DIM works by promoting the healthy breakdown of estrogen into its beneficial metabolites. Now, let's do a little science here. There are two primary pathways that estrogen can take in your body. One that produces good estrogen metabolites that protect against certain types of cancer and balance out your hormone levels. And then there's another that produces bad estrogen metabolites that can increase the risk of hormonal imbalances, breast tenderness, and estrogen-related cancers. Now, DIM helps shift estrogen metabolism towards the healthier or the good pathway, ensuring that your body produces more of the protective estrogen metabolites and fewer of the harmful ones. Now, this not only supports hormone balance, but it also helps protect against estrogen-related conditions like breast cancer and uterine fibroids. By the way, I also test for those good and bad estrogen metabolites in a urinary hormone test. So I'll pop the link for that testing below if you're interested. So in addition to supporting estrogen metabolism, DIM has been shown to reduce inflammation. It has anti-inflammatory properties, which can help reduce the overall systemic inflammation associated with hormone imbalances. Now, since DIM helps regulate estrogen, it may also aid in reducing the fat storage associated with estrogen dominance, especially around the midsection. And by balancing hormone levels, DIM may also improve conditions like acne that are related to hormonal imbalances. Although DIM is naturally found in cruciferous vegetables, you may need to supplement if you're dealing with more severe symptoms of estrogen dominance or if you aren't able to consume enough cruciferous veggies in a day. Supplements can provide a higher concentration of DIM, making it a more powerful tool for addressing estrogen dominance. And you will definitely want to consider it if you are making more of those bad estrogen metabolites. Next, we have Vitex, which is also known as chasteberry. Now, it's one of the most well-researched herbs for balancing female hormones, particularly estrogen and progesterone. It's widely used for addressing estrogen dominance because it works by supporting progesterone production, which helps balance out estrogen levels. So Vitex primarily works by acting on the pituitary gland in the brain, which plays a key role in regulating the production of luteinizing hormone, also known as LH. LH is responsible for triggering the release of an egg from the ovary, which stimulates the ovaries to produce progesterone, the hormone that naturally balances out estrogen during our menstrual cycle. So when estrogen is high and progesterone is low, which is a common scenario in conditions like estrogen dominance, Vitex helps to stimulate LH, which in turn promotes ovulation, which increases progesterone levels and creates a healthier hormonal balance. So by increasing progesterone levels, Vitex can help relieve symptoms that are associated with estrogen dominance, like heavy, painful periods, mood changes, breast tenderness, low libido, and weight gain. And Vitex is also beneficial for women who have irregular menstrual cycles, especially those with what we call short luteal phases, which is the second half of the menstrual cycle. A short luteal phase can mean insufficient progesterone production, which again can lead to a picture of estrogen dominance and making it more difficult for women to conceive. So, by supporting progesterone levels, Vitex helps lengthen the luteal phase, allowing for more regular ovulation and improving fertility for women trying to conceive. And Vitex is especially helpful for relieving PMS symptoms like bloating, irritability, and headaches, all of which are often worsened by low progesterone levels. And in perimenopause, Vitex may also help ease the transition by stabilizing hormonal fluctuations, especially those that cause symptoms like hot flashes, mood changes, and disrupted sleep. So, Vitex can be a great option for women dealing with estrogen dominance, PMS symptoms, irregular menstrual cycles, or even perimenopausal symptoms. However, like all herbal remedies, it works gradually and should be taken consistently for several months to experience the full benefits. And remember, I am a doctor, but I'm not your doctor. So, as with any supplements, it's important to talk to your healthcare provider before taking any supplements, including Vitex. Next, we're going to talk about magnesium, the B vitamins, and vitamin D. Now, these three nutrients are vital for hormone balance and overall health, yet they're commonly deficient in many women, especially those dealing with hormonal imbalances or chronic stress. Magnesium plays a crucial role in regulating stress and supporting hormone production. It's involved in hundreds of biochemical reactions in the body, including the regulation of cortisol, the stress hormone. When magnesium is low, stress levels rise, which can worsen hormone imbalances like estrogen dominance. Adequate magnesium intake helps regulate cortisol and supports progesterone production, which balances estrogen and can improve symptoms like anxiety, irritability, and sleep disturbances. So why is magnesium often low in women? Number one, chronic stress depletes magnesium because the body uses more of it during stressful times to help manage the fight or flight response. Number two, nutrient depletion from processed and refined foods will lead to inadequate intake of magnesium. And number three, gut health issues or poor absorption can also contribute to low magnesium levels. Next up, we have the B vitamins. Now, these are essential for liver detoxification, which plays a role in metabolizing and eliminating excess estrogen. They help with a process called methylation, one of the body's detox pathways, and they support mood regulation and hormone production. So, why might a woman be low in B vitamins? Stress. Chronic stress drains B vitamins, especially B5 and B6, as they are used in the production of our stress hormones like cortisol. Many people don't get enough B vitamins from their diet, especially if they rely on convenient processed foods, which are low in nutrients. And a little known fact, the birth control pill can deplete B vitamins, especially B6, B12, and folate, which are vital for detoxifying estrogen and maintaining a healthy hormonal balance. This is why many women who've been on the pill long term may experience mood swings, fatigue, and other hormonal symptoms when they stop taking the birth control pill. And the final nutrient that I usually recommend for hormonal balance is vitamin D. Vitamin D is critical for overall hormonal health. It regulates hormone production, like estrogen and progesterone, And a deficiency can worsen symptoms of a hormonal imbalance, such as fatigue, mood swings, and even weight gain. Vitamin D also supports immune function and bone health, both of which are crucial during the perimenopausal years. So, why could vitamin D be low? Well, lack of sun exposure, right? Many of us spend most of our time indoors, or we live in areas where sun exposure is limited, especially during the winter months. We use sunscreen. Now, while sunscreen does protect against harmful UV rays, it also blocks the skin's ability to produce vitamin D. And realistically speaking, there are few foods naturally rich in vitamin D, so it can be difficult to get enough from your diet alone. Now, it's always wise to get your vitamin D levels checked to see where you are. Many women are deficient, and knowing your baseline will help guide how much supplementation you need to maintain optimal hormone health. And that's all for today. But if you struggle with hormonal imbalance, why don't you check out this video where I talked about 4 ingredients that you probably already have in your kitchen right now that you can use daily to help balance your hormones. And with that, we'll see you right back here next week. Ciao.